Hi, I'm Draken and this is the DrakenGameWerks, and I'm here with a little tutorial to show you how to build a variety of different types of post boxes in Minecraft. So stick around, we'll show you how to do them with redstone lamps, but also how to do them with other building light blocks like the new Froglights, Sea Lanterns, and mushroom blocks, etc. that you might also want to use with your post boxes. If you've ever played on a multiplayer Minecraft server with friends, or perhaps you're a part of a small content creator server, such as the Unorthoblocks, which I'm a part of, yeah, that's right, that was a cheeky little promotion in there, then you will know that every now and then you will want to provide stuff to other people. So you might want to drop off diamonds for things that you've bought off them, or maybe they're after some resources and you need to leave it over at their bases or something. Now you could just wander around and find their base, but if you've got a big server, wandering around and finding a good place to leave it for, if they're not on the server at the time, can be a little bit awkward sometimes. So it's sometimes quite useful, and a lot of multiplayer servers end up building one of these things. You build a post office where you have a bunch of chests that you can drop goods off. Each chest has the name of the person who that chest belongs to, and then they can, next time they're on the server, they can swing by and see if there's anything there waiting for them and pick up the goods once they're there. Now, it's pretty easy to build a post office just by putting down a bunch of chests and putting signs on the front just to say whose chests they are, and you don't really need a tutorial for doing that. But what you might want to do is put indicator lights onto your chests so that you can actually see when there are items in the chest. That way they don't even need to run up to the chest. They can see it from a distance as they're passing the post office, whether they've got mail waiting for them or not. Now, we could do this really easily because if you put a comparator right behind the chest itself, then you can get a redstone signal whenever there is an item in there. The comparator will read what's in the chest and it will pick up that there's something in there and it will give a redstone signal out. And one of the things it does is that the strength of the signal is dependent upon how much you've got in the chest, which can be used for a variety of useful things in different types of builds. But for the purposes of the actual post office box, all we need it to do is to know when there is something in there and when there's something not. And it's as simple as if there's nothing there, there's no redstone signal. And if there is something in there, we have a redstone signal. And that's the easiest way that you could do it. I mean, this could just be a post office system in itself. You could just have a bunch of chests with a comparator behind it and a redstone lamp behind it. And there we are. We can now see there is something in that chest, and then we can come up and grab our items and the light goes off. But of course, in most builds, you're probably going to want the redstone light to be above the actual chest itself, so that when we pop the item in the chest, the light above then lights up, and then we can take the items out. And this is the first one of the actual sort of designs that I'm going to show you today. The nice bit with this design is it's tileable, and that means that you can actually put them side by side, literally side by side. And this works as well with barrels as well. You can put double chests in front of here as well. It doesn't have to be a single chest. It will all work exactly the same in that you have your comparator coming out, going into the block here, redstone torches up here, and to the redstone lamp here. So let's quickly show you block by block. It's pretty easy. You could probably already work it out, but we'll show you how that's built. So to build the first mechanism, all we need is a chest, a redstone lamp, 2 building blocks, 2 redstone torches, and a comparator. And it is pretty straightforward. All we need to do is put down the chest here. We then put the comparator just behind it. We put the stone block there. We put the redstone torch on top of there. And then if we jump up on top there, we can put the next redstone block just above it. You can do that without even pressing shift. If you just aim at the top of the redstone torch itself, it'll let you place it up there. And then we put a redstone torch on the front side of here. And then all we need to do is put the redstone lamp in the front there. And there we are. That is our mechanism. It is easy as that. We put something in there and it lights up, and it doesn't when we take it out. Now, once you've built it, you can then build up walls around it. Depending on the design of how you want to do your post office there, you could put a little sign on the front there to mark whose place it is. Again, this is exactly the same design there. It's just we've built a wall around here. There's a couple of things to note. If you use a chest here, then you've got to make sure the block above it isn't going to obscure the chest from opening. So you need something like an upside down stair just at this point so that you can actually open the chest. If you put a full block, that's not going to work. And the other bit to note with this design that we've done over here is there's a bit of a gap around the outside here. Now, both this problem with the upside down stair and with the chest can be solved by using a barrel instead. That would fully block it up, and you wouldn't need to use the upside down stair if you didn't want to there as well. But there are other ways we can get around this problem of being able to sort of see a little bit just around the outside. You can see it there, the mechanisms behind. And that's because, as well as the comparator reading the chest, if you put a block behind the chest, the comparator can still read the chest through a single block. So here's an example here. This was just like our one earlier, but we've got a block in between. And if we drop an apple into here, you can see we still get a redstone signal and the lamp lights up at the end there. Of course, what this means is that the actual design that we need, if we have this exact same design to block it off behind the chest, has to modify slightly because the comparator is one block further away. And the way we can do this is a little bit more different. We have two blocks here. We've got a little bit of redstone dust up here and the torches at the back here. But as you can see, that works just as well as the other one before. And to build this, again, you could probably work it out, but to quickly show you how it goes together. To build the second version of the postbox, it is pretty easy. We just need one chest, one redstone lamp, 4 building blocks, a comparator, 2 redstone torches, and a bit of redstone dust as well. A little bit more complex than the last one, but not by much, to be honest. All we need to do is put down the chest here. We put down a block behind here and a second block behind here as well on top of the first one. We're then going to put a comparator this way around here. We're going to put a block here, we're going to put a torch on here, and as before, if we jump up and aim at the top of the redstone torch, we can put another block on top. We're going to put that redstone torch on the front there, and then on top of these 2 building blocks here, we're going to put a bit of redstone dust. And then we're going to put our torch in the front here. And a little tip for you, if you aim down, you can see the box coming up there. If we aim at the redstone dust itself, that will enable us to actually put the lamp into place there. And there we are, we have our working mechanism there, preferably without actually placing a new redstone torch, redstone lamp in front there. But yeah, that shows you how that one comes together. And here we can see that same design that we had before, but this time we don't see any of the mechanisms showing up before. The area behind is blocked up, but we put the thing in and it still works for us perfectly fine. I'm just going to interrupt this very quickly. If you are appreciating what I've shown you so far, all the things that I show you afterwards, it would really help me out on the channel if you would turn around and hit that like button and turn around and subscribe to the channel. We are trying to reach 1,000 subscribers and then possibly grow even further after there. I do a few tutorials. I also have a Let's Play series on the Unorthodox server, and your help would be greatly appreciated. Now, what if you don't want to use a redstone lamp? Now, redstone lamps are used by a lot of servers as their indicator light, but maybe you want something a little bit different. Maybe you want to use the new Froglights that have just come out in 1.19, or perhaps you want to use the mushroom block that was introduced a couple of updates ago in the Nether update, or if we want to go back even further in the Ocean update, we also had the Sea Lanterns introduced, and all of these blocks can actually be used as indicator lights as well, but we have to do it slightly differently. A big shout out to Mighty High as well over on the Unorthodox server. Me and him spent a couple of days working through a few designs, getting them smaller and smaller on our Discord server to use this design for our Unorthodox system. And the system is pretty straightforward. What we actually have here is behind the actual chest, we still got the block here, so we don't end up sort of seeing behind the mechanism, but we have our comparator coming out to a block which it powers with a redstone dust on the top, and that redstone dust will power a sticky piston here with 2 sticky blocks on here, and that will shove this up and down, which we have a black piece of concrete there, and we have our light just underneath it. And if we look at it from the front here, we can see there's nothing in there because currently the black indicator is on. But if we chuck something in there, that will then move up. We will probably have a block up here somewhere just to hide it, and then all we see then is the light is on. And it's a pretty straightforward, again, simple system. A couple of little drawbacks. Doing it this way, it's a little higher, so the actual indicator light is 1 block higher than it is, say, with the redstone lamps over here. And you usually have to have something in front here just to hide the light when it's in the down position. Now, we could do it in a reverse direction, and this is another mechanism that I've just come up with. Unfortunately, behind it, it's a little bit taller, and so that means you're going to need to sort of hide it a bit higher, and it's also a little bit wider in the distance here. You can see as these get more complicated, they get a little taller and a little wider at the back here. But the other thing to note as well, with the last couple of ones as well, they're not as tileable. So you can only sort of do them every other space, because otherwise their redstone starts interfering with one another and causing problems as they sort of shunt up and down every time they move. But this one works in the opposite direction, so that, again, you got it around the same height as what we had with the redstone lamps. Still needs to be sunk back by at least one space here. But if we chuck an apple in here, you can see the indicator light comes on. If we take the apple out, the indicator indicator light goes off. So let's quickly show you how to build both of these. Again, you might be able to work it out simply by looking at the designs here, but we'll show you how to build them block by block now. For the first of these two mechanisms, it is pretty easy. You just need a chest, you need your light block, you need 3 building blocks, you need a sticky piston, a comparator, a redstone dust, 2 slime blocks, and a bit of black concrete as well. And so what we do is we put down our chest here, we then put down our block here and another one here, and we're going to put just one space between, and we're going to put our comparator in between the two of them. We're then going to put our redstone dust on the top here. Note that when you put a single redstone dust, if you right click it, it changes between the dot form and the cross form. We want it in the cross form, so keep it in that variation. Then what we're going to do is we need to place on top of here a sticky piston. So if we actually aim while I'm pressing shift at the comparator, and we might need to jump up a little bit, but there we are. That will put the sticky piston into place there. And then we need 2 slime blocks on the top here. And then at the bottom is where you're going to put your light. So the lower one is going to be your light. And then your top one is going to be your black concrete. Now, you don't have to use the black concrete. You could use any other block. It might be the same color block as what you build the rest of the build around it. I just use black concrete. It's just to indicate that the light is off, and then your light is on the second one. And then when there is an item in the chest here, you see it all rises up. And then when you take the item out, it all drops back down again. And obviously then you would build your build around the outside, hiding up the light when it's in this position. So if we took, like, say, our stone blocks there, we put a stone block here, covers it up. And when we do that, then we can see the light. And you might have another one up here just to hide up the other bit there. And then we do that, it goes over to black there. But that's how you do the first mechanism. To build the fourth mechanism, it's a little bit more complex than the other designs, but not by a major amount. What you're going to need is 1 chest, 1 light block, 6 building blocks, a sticky piston, comparator, 4 redstone torches, 2 slime blocks, and the black concrete. Though again, of course, you could change the black concrete for just any other building block if you wanted to. And the way we put this together is we'll put down our chest here. Then behind it, we are going to put our building block, followed by our comparator, followed by another building block, and then we're going to put a redstone torch on the back here. And once that redstone torch is there, we're then going to place a block on top of that redstone torch, and we're going to bring this up with a redstone torch on the top here. And you're probably going to want some temporary blocks if you're doing this in survival, just to sort of build up on the side here. We're going to build another block on top of that redstone torch and put a second one up here directly on top of the blocks. And then we're going to put one more block at the top here. And at the top here, we're also going to put the redstone torch here. Now, to make life easier for yourself, what I'd recommend doing is putting another temporary block in front of this torch. If we just aimed at that torch and click it, it will appear there. Then we can go down and we can actually build our sticky piston on the underside of this one, and we can get rid of that temporary block then for the time being. Then we just need 2 sticky blocks just underneath it there. And then in front here, we just need to put at the bottom here is our black concrete and then our light as well. And that's the mechanism technically completed, though you are probably going to want to put some building blocks in the front again, just to make sure that you can block it off. So you might want some stairs, for example. We'll just do this as an example here. If we put an item into the chest, you can see the mechanism moves down. So we're going to probably want to put a stair there of some description, and probably a block in the upwards position when we take this out. Yep, there we go. And there's our mechanism there. So now when we put an item in there, the sea lantern shows up. When we take our mechanism, our item out there, it turns into the black block there as well for us. And now that you've got them built there, you can see how you can actually integrate these into similar builds here. That's both of these designs just built into a little bit of a wooden build here. We've got our names put above and below the indicator lights here, and we can just put something in there, and now we can see that there's something in the post box there using the frog light there. We take it out, and the same with this one. It's a little lower. It does need a little bit more space behind it, but it also works as well. So that is also an option there. And one final design I thought I would show you here that's a little different to all the others there. This uses, again, a redstone lamp as well to indicate there, but the redstone lamp is actually beneath the chest. It would be nice if these chests were just a little bit smaller because you can only just make out a sliver there. Otherwise, we could have hidden this in the floor and you might have had it light up underneath, but unfortunately, it's not quite there to be able to do that. But we do have the light here, so we could have our chests up one higher here and have the lights down below. And we have a circuit behind here. It's a similar sort of thing. We've got the comparator here. It's leading into a bunch of redstone that comes back and powers the redstone torch. Sorry, that's the redstone lamp, not the redstone torch. Let's get it right here. But yeah, let's show you quickly block by block how that one's built. Again, I'm sure you can work it out though from this. To build this final mechanism, we are going to need a chest, a redstone lamp, a comparator, a repeater, 3 redstone dust, 2 redstone torches, 5 stone blocks. And we're also going to need to dig out behind where our chest is just a little trench like this that's 4 blocks long, because we're going to put part of the mechanism into there. Now to build this, we're going to put the redstone lamp on the front here, and then we're going to put the chest on top of there. We're going to put one of our building blocks behind here that we're going to use, and we're going to put the other one at the other end. And we're going to put into this block a repeater facing towards the actual chest itself. On this block at the end of the little trench, we're going to put a redstone torch, and we're going to put a redstone dust on the top here in the cross format. Remember, if we right click it, it changes between a dot and a cross. And we're going to do the same at the front here as well. Next, we're going to then place another block on top of this repeater. So if we hold shift and place, it will put it there. And we're also going to put another block directly behind this chest. We're going to put a comparator on this block here itself. And then at the end of this comparator, we're going to aim at the edge of this comparator and put a block here. And we are going to put a redstone dust on the top here as well in the cross shape. And then finally, we're going to put on the back here a redstone torch. And that is your mechanism for this one. If we put an item in here, we see the redstone torch lights up, or the redstone lamp turns on. And if we take that out, then it turns off again. And that's the end of the tutorial. Nice and short for this one, just a few different ideas for you. But I thought I'll finish it off by showing you different ways in which it can be integrated. Using the very first redstone lamp design we got here, where it is possible to tile it side by side here. You can see what I've done here is use those barrels I mentioned at the beginning so that we don't see the mechanisms behind. But we do have a couple of items sort of tucked in these barrels, which you can see they're lit up. We can put signs across here. We don't need to have the step on this one. And this is actually the basic, easiest of the designs there. This has just got the comparator and a couple of redstone torches at the back here. And the nice thing about this design is it's nice and slim. You only need 2 blocks space behind the wall to actually set it up, and it only goes 3 high to actually connect up to the redstone lamp there. So it's quite a nice design. This is nice and compact, and you can have them nice and squeezed together. So if you haven't got a lot of space for your post office, this might be the design to go with. If we move on though, we got the other design. Again, this is using redstone lamps, but this time we are using the block just behind here so that you can't see behind the chests, because we're using the chests here. This one I've done it with sort of a brick pattern with some quartz around the outside. It's just some ideas of how it could go together. But you've noticed we've got the upside down steps again just above these here. And here, instead of having signs on the lights, we've got player heads. So you might say if you've got one of those servers where the admin has set it up so that every player is able to actually have their own personalized head on the server. I know we have that on the unawful blocks. Then that could be another useful way of indicating whose mailbox is whose. Coming over, we now got the ones with the sea lanterns here. This is very similar to the ones we saw over before. Again, we've got items in there and it shows that we have a sea lantern showing. Otherwise, it's just a black concrete here. And that is just the that first of the 2 designs using the sticky piston at the back with the sign box all sat at the back here. So it's quite nicely sort of spaced out. Note that we do need to have that 1 block space between them all because of this redstones on here. Otherwise, it starts to mingle as with the slime blocks, so we don't want that to happen. And what I've done here is I've used double chests as well, side on as well with this version. So we've got those in front. So if you wanted bigger mailboxes, you can use a double chest if you wanted to. And the way we hide the sea lantern when it's in the down position, I've got here, instead of a block, I've used a trapdoor, because the trapdoor won't get moved by the redstone behind there in its position. And so, yeah, if you look behind this one, you can see that's where the sea lantern is actually hidden. And then obviously, yeah, the ones when it's up in the up position, you can see the piston behind there. Obviously, you don't want people coming along and opening the trapdoors all the time, but it's one way in which you could hide it if you didn't want to use a block. But you could just as easily use a full block there to hide the sea lantern when it is in the down position as well. And of course, 1.19's just come out, so we might as well finish on using some of the new blocks from 1.19 with this example. This is the other type with the downwards sort of going sticky piston here, which uses, again, the sort of the Froglights and the black concrete there. And we use that, one of those, the fourth mechanism that I showed you how to build earlier. And again, we're using chests here. It's going into a block behind there to hide the mechanisms. And you know, when we've got something in there, we see the Froglight lit up. And when there's nothing in there, then obviously all we get is the black concrete piece. And this is using the new blocks. You know, it's the new mud blocks and the mangrove woods as well that are available here as well. But yes, so there's some great ideas for you for your Minecraft servers if you're on a multiplayer Minecraft server and wanting to build post office boxes. If you have appreciated this, if this has been useful for you, please leave a comment below, let me know, and don't forget to check out our other videos. In the meantime, you guys have a great day.